Going to a foot 11, no, day 11. Going to a football match in the middle of pandemic feels like an undergoing endurance test in a reality TV show. A pre-match message instructs me to arrive at Hampden Park in Glasgow 3 hours before Scotland kick off against Czech Republic. I must wear a mask at all times. Thinking of my microphone to plus bed provided by the stadium, and all the catering out will be shut. So no fancy burgers or cartons of flat Pepsi to keep me going. When I immediately turn up to stadium 3 hours early, the crowds are predictably sparse. The pub outside the ground all floor with supporters wrapped in Scotland flag look like a tempting alternative. But when I suggest to a steward that I might go get a drink ahead of the game, a look of concern crosses her kindly face. Be careful which pub you're going to, she said. They will see you coming. What is she referring to? Could it be the don't book back A4 side that I'm clutching? I haven't given my spare ticket to Rear Scott, my friend Alastair, but he's from Edinburgh, so also not 100% at home in Glasgow. We decide to take the device and skip the pub. Inside the stadium, we encounter a fan in the loudest tartan suit I've ever seen, including a tiny tartan cloth bag. I posed for a photo with him and he tells me, I had it tailor-made, son. It fits me like a glove. It is not just COVID regulation that make this unique and peculiar European football tournament. Euro 2020, as UEFA still insists on calling it, has also become sucked into the culture wars. The Pope of poor Baptist got flat looked like a temperature. Not just coverage that make this unique. His Scotland flag looked like a temperature, but when it's just frustrated, that might go get no. It's not just cover regulation that make this unique and peculiar European football tournament. Euro 2020, as UEFA still insists on calling it, has also become sucked into the culture wars. Culture wars. National football teams are symbol of the nation, but that is not a straightforward task at a time when national identity is so fiercely contested. The pressing issue for independent is independent. For independent, for England, it is race. National football team, English football team has decided to take the knee before matches as a protest against racism, but each time they do it, they are booed by a significant section of their own supporters. Even the government seems uncertain about how to respond. After hesitating for a while, Boris Johnson, Prime Minister, condemned the booing and urged fans to get behind the team. But two members of his cabinet, Jacob Rees-Mogg and Priti Patel, have defended the protests, with Rees-Mogg suggesting that the protesters are not expressing racism but condemning the Marxists of Black Lives Matter movement. Patel, Britain's Home Secretary, accused the player of indulging in gesturing politics. Players from the England team whose pre-game press conferences are normally confined to discussing tactics, injuries, and the atmosphere inside the camp, and now being asked to wear home security. It would be natural to assume that cabinet ministers are better at politics than footballers, but the Johnson government has reason to be worried of clashing with the England team. Last year, it went down to an economic defeat when it took on Marcus Rashford over the extension of free school meals for poor families. Manchester United and England forward mobilized a million signatures behind the petition and forced the Johnson government to change tack. The 23-year Washburn preparation for Euro 2020 included a Zoom call with Barack Obama, while plenty of tourists are prepared to grumble about the Rashford in private. Nobody willing to take him in public. It is not just national football. The culture wars over football are not just happening in Britain. The multiracial Belgian team took the knee in Russia ahead of their opening game. They were also booed by the crowd. The Russian also protesting against racism but condemning the Doubtless the Russians were also protesting against Marxism. Viktor Orban, Prime Minister, condemned the bullying and urged fans Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, one of the host nations for Euro 2020, had defended fans who visiting team detected it, saying that Hungarians see the gesture as a provocation. Orban is himself a right-wing provocateur who has become a Trumpist hero to the right. Trumpist right in America by issuing frequent warnings about the elderly dangers Europe being flooded by Muslims. But even some moderate conservatives are uncomfortable about footballers taking the knee. Britain laments to admit that football used to be a political space, but now the national team has become a source of division. I can see what it means. This year's tournament inevitably brings back memories of Euro 96, when England also played their games at Wembley, and the whole country did seem to get behind the team in an uncomplicated sort of way. Back then, packed the stadium, all joined in the singing of the Lions. Football's coming on. Now the stadiums are largely empty, and some of the home crowds actually bring the players. But as somebody who has been to many England games over the years, I know that the idea that team was never mixed up with politics or race an illusion. England games have always attracted a substantial number of Saudi hooligans and far-right supporters, whose trademark chant is "No surrender to the RA." At the last European Football Championship in France in 2016, the ugly tradition of English football hooliganism re-emerged. When I remarked to another fan that I didn't particularly enjoy being caught up in near a riot outside a bar in Marseille, I was told curtly, "If you don't like it, you should stay at home watch the game on television." Football ground in the 1970s were also where I saw the most over racing that I ever witnessed in Britain. It was routine to see black players bark Bibles and monkey noises. The football authorities and commentators were silent about this for many years, so if the current national side will they want to make a statement about racism, it is hard to accuse them of bringing politics into a political space. The politics, particularly the racial politics, have always been there. The identity issues are really different for Scotland. Euro 2020 comes as the Scottish Government is ramping up demand for a second independence referendum. This is the first major international tournament the team has qualified for since 1998, neatly fitting the narrative of national revival. Arriving in Scotland for the first game of the tournament, I find the local papers full of optimism. In recognition of the enormity of the occasion, the Scottish Government has even allowed schools stop lessons to allow the kids to watch the game against text live. As a visiting Englishman, I wonder how I feel about all this. I grew up supporting Scotland's side that lined up to play Brazil. I grew up supporting in big international. I grew up supporting Scotland in big international tournament. I had little options since England failed to qualify for the World Cup of 1973 and 1976. But British identity was less complicated back then. The anthem played for the Scotland side that lined up to play Brazil in 1974 was "God Save the Queen", although the YouTube recording did not show the Scottish players looking particularly delighted. Today, the crowd and team will be belting out "Love Scotland" with the stern word that we can still rise now and be the nation again. When Scotland qualified for the World Cup in 1973, there were more than 90,000 people inside Hampton. But today, thanks to COVID, it's a little over 9,000. Apart from the joyous return to the big time that has been advertised, it feels pretty black and lonely up in the stands. Even if the Tartan army has been reduced to a little more cutthroat battalion, they belt up "Love Scotland" loud enough to drown out conversation. The team start the game with all the expected passion and stream forward. Their captain Dee Robertson can be seen gesturing to his player to calm down. Then the Czechs score and the air is sucked out of the stadium. At halftime, which I choose spend in the toilet next to the hand dryer, the warmest spot in Hampden, there's hopeful chatter around the union that Scotland might be able to turn this round. But early in the second half, football history is made by the Czech. Takes it the team center forward, gets the ball on the upper line, and floats the ball over the goalkeeper into the net. It is most brilliant goals any of us will ever witness. The crowd is now almost totally silent, apart from a tiny group of cheering techs on the other side of the stadium, and a group of children near and the group of children near me who continue happily shouting for Scotland, while the other around them watch frozen in horror. After the match, Alistair reminds me that Scotland might be able to remind that Scottish fans are used to bitter disappointment. Making the national football team a symbol of the nation is double-edged sword. We imagine them scoring wonderful goals and celebrating the fans. But what if your goalkeeper floundering flat on his back and tangled up in the net? Euro 2020 has already delivered humbling setback for two football-mad populist leaders. Orban gave permission for capacity crowds to attend Hungary's opening games in Budapest against Portugal, only to see the national side lose 3-0. He stepped to Erdogan, president of Turkey, from where he was able to see Turkey go down to a 2-0 defeat against Wales. England fans also have a habit of disappointing their most ardent fans. The side often portrays an embodiment of what we like to believe are national characteristics: courage, calmness under pressure. In fact, as a recent piece by Donald Lear in The Guardian pointed out, England are uniquely bad at holding a lead in a tournament. The numbers seem to suggest they might even be bottlers, and that or has it the French and Italians are much better at holding their nerve when they take a lead. If Gareth Southgate, the England manager, can somehow break this cycle and turn England into a winning outfit, it would inadvertently provide a huge boost to a Johnson government that is desperate for symbol of the success of Brexit Britain. The Southgate has successfully but unmistakably positioned himself to the left of the government on taking the knee. He leads a multiracial team and has continually defended their right to make statements on subjects other than football. It has become accepted wisdom in Britain that culture wars always work better for the right than the left. But football may be an exception. A poll taken across Europe before in 2020 showed 54% of English football fans supported taking the knee, with 39% opposed. If the England team keep winning, the number in favour may rise along with the team's popularity. But once the right may find itself on the wrong end of culture war for the duration of Euro 2020, I will care much less about who wins the culture wars than who wins the tournament. For Scotland, Euro 2020 began with a deflating defeat. The England team disappointed their fans almost as reliably as the Scots, though slightly later in the day. On the other hand, this is a weird tournament. It's taking place in the middle of pandemic. The stadiums are quarter full, and England are uniquely bad at holding a lead. Oh, no. And England are playing half decently. I am allowing myself to hope for the weirdest outcome of the lot, an England victory.